Good morning, Baycroft, and welcome to a new week on the 29th of June 2020. Mr. Mitchell isn't here today. I think he's having his hair cut and his beard trimmed. So I'm going to fill in for him and introduce Baycroft TV's theme for the week. This week, we are looking at mental health and trying to be more aware of the way it impacts on, that means affects, other people in our lives and community. Approximately 1 in 4 people in the UK will experience a mental health problem each year. In England, 1 in 6 people report experiencing mental health problems such as anxiety and depression in any given week. This means that the people we know and care about may be experiencing mental health issues, and they might develop into behaviours that we find difficult. So you might have recognised my voice. I'm Miss Ryan and I teach music and RE, and I would like to talk to you about my mother, a wonderful lady called Mary, very beautiful, very kind and very loving. My mother, which we called Mummy, had mental health issues, and she spent some time in the hospitals and quite often was very difficult to live with. She'd keep us up all night and try and talk to us because she was frightened and anxious and didn't want to be alone. That made life really difficult for us because we'd have to go to school and we couldn't sleep in school. But we were really lucky because we had family and friends and grandparents who would come and look after us and take care of us. So over the next week, your teachers and other staff in school are going to talk to you about how we can cope with mental health issues, both in our families and in ourselves, because we have to look after our mental health. And there's a big link between kindness and mental health awareness. So we're going to be exploring how we can use kindness to help with our mental health. I look forward to talking to you later.
Good morning, Baycroft. It's fantastic to see you this morning. I hope you've had as enjoyable a weekend as I have and that you've been able to make the most of the great weather and the sunshine and fresh air, and that you've had a great time with your families and carers. So this week we've got lots of interesting learning activities, and one of the things we're going to be thinking about is mental health. It's National Mental Health Awareness Week. Now, this means, like when our bodies don't feel quite right, we might have a painful tummy or a hand or a leg. This is when we don't feel quite right inside, in our head or in our heart. So what's really important about mental health, just the same as physical health, is that we take really good care of it and we let special people know when it's not right so that they can help us to feel much better again. So I hope you really enjoy today's episode and the rest of the week. Thank you for all the wonderful work that comes through. I've made some phone calls last week and I've seen some amazing pieces that have come through the home learning email. So I'm looking forward to lots more this week and looking forward to seeing you soon. Take care, be good and have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me to take part in your assembly. Today I wanted to talk to you about the importance of being kind and looking after one another. We all have our ups and downs, especially when things change in our lives as they have in so many ways recently. This can cause us to have a huge range of different feelings. Sometimes these feelings can be good, but sometimes they may be uncomfortable and we feel worried, angry, or upset. Being unable to see your friends or spend time with your family will undoubtedly be frustrating for you, just as it is for them. It's been a really difficult time for us all. But it's important to know that these feelings and frustrations are totally normal and that they won't last forever. Talking to someone, whether it's a friend, family member, or teacher, is something you can do to make yourself feel that little bit better. And you can also play your part in helping others to feel better too, whether offering a friendly ear or helping someone in need. Small acts of kindness can go such a long way. But as we help others, we mustn't forget to nurture ourselves by taking the time to focus on the things that make us feel happy too. This might be playing our favourite game, being outside, or talking to our friends. They all help with our mental well-being.
Good morning, Baycroft. As you know, today we're looking at mental health awareness. So I had a conversation with Mrs. Richards and she recommended some activities for you to have a go at home. The first is a story that you might very well know. But here it is, just in case you need a little reminder. It's called The Red Beast.
Deep inside everyone, a red beast lies sleeping. When it is asleep, the red beast is quite small. However, when it wakes up, it begins to grow and grow. Strangely, as it grows, its ears begin to shrink. Its eyes get smaller and smaller. And yet its mouth grows bigger and bigger. When fully awake, the red beast has tiny ears. It can't listen. It has tiny eyes. It can't see very well. It has a huge mouth. It always shouts. The red beast screams and calls out hurtful things like, "I hate you! Go away! Leave me alone!" The red beast does hurtful things like biting, kicking, throwing, spitting, and swearing. In some people, the red beast is very hard to wake up. It is in a deep, deep sleep. In other people, it can wake up quickly and easily. It is only in a light sleep. This is the story of a red beast that was awakened. One bright morning, a boy called Rufus was in the school playground waiting for the bell to ring. Rufus did not really like the school playground as it was always so noisy. Suddenly, someone kicked a ball and it hit Rufus in the stomach. Rufus was not badly hurt, but he did feel very cross and he looked around angrily to see who had kicked the ball. The red beast in Rufus had woken up. It started to grow and grow. One of the teachers noticed the change in Rufus and came over towards him. "Are you all right, Rufus?" asked the teacher kindly. But the red beast had tiny ears. It couldn't listen. John, the boy who had kicked the ball, ran over to Rufus. "I'm really sorry, Rufus," he said anxiously. However, the red beast had tiny eyes and it could not see how sorry John was. The red beast swore and hit out at poor John. "I hate you! I'm gonna get you!" It screamed with rage. John shrank back and started to cry. By this time, more teachers arrived. They trapped the red beast and took it to a quiet place. Red Beast kicked and screamed. It spat at the teachers and said hurtful words. No one looked at the beast. They just took it into the school to the safe room. Rufus had been in the quiet place before. The teachers gave Rufus a stress ball. "Try to tame the red beast, Rufus," they said kindly. "You know what to do." Rufus took a deep breath and squeezed the stress ball. Then he started to count very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he said through gritted teeth. Red Beast began to shrink. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Red Beast felt sleepy. Its ears and eyes grew bigger. Its mouth grew smaller. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, chanted Rufus. Red Beast grew smaller and smaller and sleepier and sleepier. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, counted Rufus, slowly as he squeezed the stress ball. Red Beast began to snore. One of the teachers looked in on Rufus and gave him a glass of iced water. Rufus gulped it down thirstily. "Now, Rufus, what's it to be? A foot massage and soothing music for 10 minutes, or a quick burst on the bubble wrap?" inquired the teacher with a wink. "Oh, bubble wrap, I think," said Rufus sheepishly. Rufus took a sheet of coloured bubble wrap from the Red Beast box and started popping the bubbles with relish. After a few minutes, he felt much better and was ready to go back to the classroom. "Well done, Rufus," beamed Mrs. Smith, his teacher. "You've tamed the red beast. Put 10 beans in the glass jar." Rufus knew that when the jar was full of beans, the whole class would get a special treat. Rufus felt tired, but very proud. He noticed John looking at him from the seat near the door. Rufus winked at John, and John winked back. He walked over to his table. "I'm really sorry I hit you," John said, Rufus. "Oh, that's okay. It wasn't you. It was the red beast. It's brilliant that you managed to tame him so quickly," said John happily. Rufus knew that taming the beast wasn't easy and he would probably wake up again. However, now that he knew what to do, it would get easier and easier.
So as the story suggests, there's a red beast sleeping deep inside every single one of us. But it's how we can control our red beast and our feelings which helps us behave in the way that we would like to behave. So, how can we help that? How can we recognise when that red beast is going to wake up?
This vertical thermometer uses words and colours to describe the stages of the red beast on a 5-point scale. Could you create a red beast menu describing what makes their red beast develop from calm to furious? So for example, calm is doing my favourite hobby, maybe it's trampolining, playing on the Xbox, listening to music. Grumpy might be getting up in the morning too early, or when people touch my stuff. Annoyed might be when there's a change from your favourite activity to something else without warning, or when your computer decides not to work. And continuing until you think about those activities that really make you feel furious and unleash that red beast.
Here are another 2 examples of different rating scales that can be used throughout your days to mark on how you're feeling. Do you need to improve your feelings? Can you think of an activity that can do that? The rating scales for sadness and anger can be used by you and your families to find out how you're feeling on a particular day. It means you can talk about your feelings. It's okay to talk about your feelings. And when you rate a day, you can think about what has made that day a particular number. Whether it's a high day because you've had lots of fun activities, or a low day maybe because you've just sat on your own for most of the day. Knowing what makes better days means that when a lower number day comes along, it'll be easier to do things that raise the rating to a more positive day.
Finally, I'm going to leave you for some top tips for keeping mentally healthy, especially during these lockdown times. Number 1, drink plenty of water. You're meant to drink over a litre of water every day to make sure that your body feels hydrated and refreshed. Number 2, exercise regularly. As I've said before, getting your daily exercise is incredibly important. Getting in those 10,000 steps on your Fitbit, going for that little run, or even taking your dog for a walk. Number 3, do things you enjoy. Whether that's playing on the Xbox, whether it's having a chat with your friends, do things that make you happy. Number 4, this is really important, get enough sleep. On average, you're meant to get over 8 hours sleep. It means that your body will be re-energised, ready for the next day. Number 5, talk to your friends and family. Whether that's in person, on the phone, through Zoom chats or FaceTime, it's really important to speak to those that you care about and the ones that care about you. And finally, be aware of your own feelings. Use those scales to recognise when you're feeling happy, what's made you feel happy, or even more important, when you're feeling sad and what's caused that.
Good morning, Baycroft TV. Mrs. Renouf here for a very special episode today, all about mental health. So, what is mental health? Well, mental health is to do with what's happening in your mind, your emotions and your psychological well-being. So we're going to be thinking about that today, and I'm going to be talking about some things that you can do to help yourself, because just like you look after your body, you need to look after your mental health too. So we know that with our bodies, we can do things like exercise and eat a healthy diet to look after them. And it's the same with your mental health. You need to do things to look after it too. And exercise is actually great for that as well. But I want to talk to you about art today and how art can help your mental well-being too. Doing artwork is a really, really good thing to do because firstly, it can really boost your confidence. And I see that all the time at school when students produce fantastic work and they're so proud of it and it makes them feel fantastic. It also builds resilience because when you're producing a piece of work, you have to constantly make decisions, you have to adjust things that don't go quite right, and it makes you more resilient, and it means that you can use those resilient skills in other areas of your life too. But I also want to talk about making art as a therapy and the therapeutic process. Because although when I'm in the classroom, I'm asking you usually to produce quality pieces of work to the best of your ability, the actual process of making art can make you feel better too. And it's proven that actually you don't have to have amazing skills and talent to have a benefit from art. And producing art
does something really, really clever in your brain, and actually just sitting down and making art reduces something called cortisol, which is a chemical in your brain that makes you feel stressed. So if you're particularly stressed out, sitting down and doing art reduces that in your brain and can make you feel calmer. And another really clever thing it does inside your brain is it gives you something called dopamine, which is another chemical, and that one improves your mood. So basically, just by doing art, it doesn't even have to be an amazing outcome, but just by sitting and doing art makes you happier. So today I'm going to set some challenges that don't necessarily focus on producing a final piece of art, but they're more to do with the process of making something. And sometimes we know that just sitting and doodling can be a really relaxing thing to do. So we're thinking about the connection with art and the meaning for you rather than the outcome. So I'm going to set you some challenges shortly, and like I said, think which one appeals to you, which one you might fancy sitting and having a go at doing. So your first doodling idea is called Houses on a Street. And what I've done is, on some paper, I've just used watercolour to very quickly paint some rectangle shapes that could be a row of houses. Now you can see I've done them different heights and different widths and slightly different sizes, and the paint came out sort of slightly darker in some areas than others, but I quite like that, so I just left it like that. And this really did take me just a few minutes to do, and I've just let it dry. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to use a biro pen, and I'm just going to sit and draw some windows and doors and roofs and chimneys on them. You might want to spend some time doing this, you might want to work on it fairly quickly, it depends on your style of drawing, and you can do this however you like really. Now remember, we're not thinking about a particularly good outcome, we're just going to sit and enjoy doing it. Now I'm not actually going to do any more on this because I don't want to show you a finished picture, I want you to come up with your own ideas for this. So you can do it however you want, you can sit and try and add as much detail as you like, just enjoy doing it. So your second therapeutic art task is called mood circles. Now, for this one you need to draw lots of rings of circles. So just in a biro pen, I drew one in the middle and then lots more rings outside. And then I just started off by colouring some of mine with watercolours, just so I've got a slightly darker background colour. It's quite nice to have some of the rings different to white when you start. Now I'm going to fill these with patterns, and it's called a mood circle because I want you to try and do it by thinking about how you're feeling today. So I feel quite calm today, quite peaceful, quite happy. So I've chosen colours that for me match that. Now you might be having a day where you're feeling more angry, you might be having a day when you're feeling very relaxed, you might have a day where you're feeling more anxious or any other feeling, or it might be a mixture of feelings. Sometimes our feelings can be very complicated and it can be hard to find one word that matches them. So quite often doing a picture can express that better than you can in words. So I've picked out some colours just that I fancy using today, and I'm going to just work on this and just fill it with patterns and shapes without worrying about what it actually the outcome looks like. Although I do want to try and make mine quite symmetrical, I think. You might not want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. So again, mine isn't finished. So you can keep on working on this for as long as you want to, and just don't worry too much about what's happening as you do it. Just enjoy doing it and just keep adding to it until you feel like you're done. Now, I was talking a little bit about the clever chemicals in your brain and how they make you feel happier. Now, you really need to be working on something for at least half an hour to have a benefit from that. So try and sit and keep your focus going as long as you can on these, just so that you can really feel a benefit from it. Okay, your next challenge is called mark making. Now for this one, I'm not actually going to use any colour, I'm just going to use a black fine liner pen. I've managed to find one. And we're just going to try and do as many different types of marks on the paper as we can think of. So you might want to do some with lots of straight lines, do some in that direction as well. You might want to do some very gentle wiggly ones. So another way you can do this is by playing a piece of music. Now it's quite good to pick a nice relaxing one, or it might just be a piece of music you really like. And have your paper and pen in front of you, and if you want to, you can close your eyes and actually try and draw shapes and patterns that you think match the music. And you can press harder and you can press lighter and you can do straight lines and wiggly lines and layer it and go wherever you want, and not worry at all about what it's going to look like. Just try and match the music. So you can either do it like that, or you can do it how I did it, and just thinking about using your pen or pencil in different ways. So that's your next doodle idea.
Hi again, Baycroft. I hope you've enjoyed the learning today and are looking forward to completing some of the challenges. So just to recap on mental health awareness and the link to kindness, we have to try and be positive. We have to try and think about the good things and not the negative things. Think about all the things you can do and you are capable of and you'd like to achieve. So I'd love you to create a kindness cup for yourself, Mr. Kip. And what I want you to do is to put in that cup words or examples of things that are really good and positive about you to help build up your awareness of how great a person you are. You could take the challenge to create a kindness trophy, and there's a link on the learning pages. So remember, look after yourself, talk to others, and treat yourself and everyone around you with kindness. Have a great day.